Woo! What's going on, guys? Orms Forum coming at you with another video. In today's video, we'll do the training camp still, observations from day 8. That was yesterday. It was a full-on scrimmage. But, before I start, thanks to guys like John Macaron, Tim Twentyman, Jeff Risden, Eric Schlitt, Jeremy Reisman, Justin Rogers. The list goes on and on with all those Detroit Lions beat writers that are out there putting out this information so I can give this information out to you. We can discuss, we can talk, and I can give you my opinions on what's going on with this football team. But day 8 was a scrimmage. It was a scrimmage day. Campbell wanted to see guys that pretty much were not really gonna be starters for the regular season. That wanted to see the starters for the regular season. You're not going to see these guys in this Hall of Fame game. You're not going to see Aiden Hutchinson, Jared Goff. You're not going to see Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown, Tim Patrick, J-Mo. You're not going to see Sewell. You're not going to see any of these guys out there. Just starters. So, they wanted to see the starters on this in this scrimmage game. You're going to see a lot of new faces tomorrow night, Hall of Fame game versus the LA Chargers. I will be doing my preview of that a little bit later on, probably the next day. Obviously going to be doing that Friday because just the way my schedule is. But yeah, I kind of treat it like a regular season game. I'll tell you who was good, who was bad, give you some stats, who looked good, who looked bad, all that stuff, coaches, players, all the way down from top to bottom. Try to get as much information out as I can. But it was a scrimmage day. This won't be a long video, I'm hoping. So let's get this done. The participation report, who's in, who's out, who was practicing for day 8, which was yesterday. Out was safety Kirby Joseph with a knee irritation. That's what it came out. I've never heard of this before, knee irritation. Something's going on with his knee, it's bothered, whatever. His knee's bothered. It's irritated. So, like what I said in my video yesterday, when I see him walking around on that little NFL Network reel or that clip, he looked like he was like favoring that right leg really bad. It looked like his leg was completely stiff. That's why I thought it was maybe a hammy, a calf, but I guess it's a knee irritation. So never heard that. Hopefully it's not that serious, but he obviously is not going to be playing tomorrow, and he missed out on day 8 as well, so he's getting some rest. And then cornerback Amik Robinson was out again too as well. Don't know what his injury is. Nothing was disclosed, so I'm not too sure. And then cornerback Terry and Arnold had a hamstring. He left the scrimmage. Precautionary. It seemed like he went on Twitter and made it sound like it wasn't that big of an injury, wasn't that big of a deal. Clearly stating that he walked off the practice field. It didn't have to be carted off or anything. So keep an eye on that. This is the guy that just had a calf injury. And the Lions said they were going to take it easy with him. Then he was out there the very next day, and then he gets hurt. So that's a little bit, to me, it's not a good look. To be honest with you, it's not a good look in my eyes. You had a kid that was already banged up a bit. Obviously he probably talked someone into letting him go, or he just wasn't. His injury wasn't that serious in his calf. But was it a continuation of that? I don't know. But he probably should have been sitting. He probably should have been sitting. Hopefully that doesn't creep up on him during the season. Then they did waive undrafted free agent tight end Luke Deal with an injuries designation, and they signed UFL running back Jacob Sailors, I think, to St. Louis Battlehawks again. I'm pretty sure that was another Battlehawk. He's a decent running back. I think he led the league in that UFL league with 500 yards or something like that. I don't know how many games they play, to be honest with you, but I guess he was one of the better running backs in the UFL. So they're picking up guys, tryouts, camp bodies. It's okay to do this. Now the scrimmage, the defense dominated early. The first series, it's all pretty much series guys we're talking about. First series, linebacker Jack Campbell and defensive end Aiden Hutchinson got a sack each. The drive ended. Campbell blew by Gibbs and Hutch beat Skipper pretty handily. Second drive, Monty, we had 2 nice runs in a row. St. Brown catch from Jared Goff. Ratledge playing right guard, by the way, with an excellent block on rookie Tyleek Williams, sealing him off, and the running back being able to get some yards there. Anzalone snuffed out a Monty run, and then a false start, an incompletion, 4th down, and a Bates field goal attempt of 54 yards missed wide left. Bates had a rough day. Second team, Hooker was quarterback 2 on this day. Hooker to Zylstra. I think it was for a 1st down. Craig Reynolds got blown up. A Hooker with a completion to Isaac Tesla. They've had a nice little rapport going on, those two together. They have a nice connection going on right now. They're finding each other. Then a sack by O'Connor and Cooper together, so half a sack each. And then another Bates miss from 51 yards. 2 wins in a row by the defense. Branch, he's out there making plays out there. First team, obviously starters. Starters came out again. What Branch is doing, PBU versus Patrick. Run by Gibbs. Goff missed an open Laporta. Arnold got hurt. That's where Arnold got hurt. I don't know if he was covering Laporta. I'm assuming he was. Maybe and he outstretched that hammy. Rock Ya-Sin came in and replaced Terry Arnold. Like I told you before in those other videos, Rock Ya-Sin's been playing well. He's been stacking good days, so they gave him a shot with the first team. He's a vet, so want to see what's going on with him. So he replaced Terry Arnold. Hutch had another sack on Dan Skipper again. Drive stalled. There we get this paper. His paper's sticky. And then the offense finally, after Kyle Allen came out on QB3, so the 3rd team offense. Allen hit wide receiver Jacoby Keeney James for a 1st down. Then Meeks had a drop, and then Anthony Pittman, the linebacker, had a sack. First team came back on, so the defense is winning like 2-3 in a row. They get awarded points for these. For every win. So by the time the offense, I think, put any points on the board, it was 10-0 for the defense. So the first team came on. They got in a little bit of a rhythm. Monty and Gibbs set the tone with 2 good runs. St. Brown with a big gain. Monty with a 10-yard touchdown catch. Lions offense on the board. First team again, they kept them out there. Hutch sack on Goff. Bates had a 50. Bates hit on a 60-yard field goal. Finally getting some, the big leg coming through. No misses there. Second team back out there. Hooker to Tesla. Dropped by tight end Kenny Yeboah. Yeboah's had a couple drops so far in this in the camp early. Could be a guy that gets cut. Drive stalled. And then some notes, some important notes. Kingsley Aguacan, the UDFA offensive lineman out of Florida, the Florida Gator, got center 2 snaps. Giovanni Manu and Mason Miller. Manu playing left tackle, Miller playing right tackle. We're obviously the offensive tackle. So there's some notes right there. First team, the final series. Goff was moving the ball pretty well down the field. Monty showing some elusiveness. Linebacker Zach Cunningham with a really nice stop on Monty though, and a nice run stop. Goff to Williams and then St. Brown back to back. And then they got into the red zone finally. Gibbs had a tough run, and then Goff threw a nice touchdown pass to Tim Patrick, kind of like tiptoed along the back of the end zone. Nice to see Tim Patrick get a little bit of talk there, because he's been pretty hard on himself so far during this camp, saying that he hasn't been up to par what he usually is come training camp, and he's not having a good camp, so he thinks. And it's kind of been noted out there a little bit, but it's nice to see him get on the board, because he's still our wide receiver 3. Even though Tesla and guys like Tesla and and Khalif Raymond are kind of right there. Dominic Lovett pushing as well too, but Tim Patrick is our wide receiver 3. He's a big guy. He's long. He makes really good catches. Probably might have the best hands on the team. Might even be better than St. Brown. I know guys don't want to hear it, but his hands are fantastic. So that was really it for the series, guys, with the scrimmage. That was it. Not a lot of QB3 talk, so a little bit of Kyle Allen talk. Hooker looked pretty decent as well. I don't think they ever got into the end zone with Hooker, though. I think it was Goff was the only one who scored touchdowns. But the Hooker and Allen thing are legit. It's a real competition. Like I kind of said yesterday, I kind of ran on that little rant. That guy still thinks, that guy that I'm still arguing with, that guy shouldn't be arguing with him. He still thinks it's not a competition. He just thinks it's the Lions brought in Kyle Allen just to push Hooker. He's not wrong there. He's not wrong there. Of course it's to push Hooker, but it's a legitimate camp battle, and it's going to get separated when we watch these preseason games. It's not going to get decided during camp. Scrimmages. When we play the Dolphins and we play the Texans, and then preseason games. That's when you're going to notice change. So if Hooker comes out tomorrow, balls out, you're probably going to see him taking way more quarterback 2 snaps during the week next week. And if Kyle Allen does the same, it might stay the same. It's called evaluation for a reason. No one's getting handed that job. No one is handed that job. And I'm not rooting against any of them. I want both of these guys to play well. I want to make the coach's job even harder. That's what Hooker and Allen should be doing. Make it harder to make a decision. Both ball out. That's great. I'm not wishing failure on Hendon Hooker. I'm not. That's the problem with this fan base, man. If you like Jared Goff and someone doesn't like Jared Goff, they wish failure on Goff. When Goff came here, I'm ranting again. When Goff came here 4 or 5 years ago, whenever he came, 2021, 5 years ago, I was not happy with that. If you guys know that, obviously, if you guys have followed me since day one, you know that. If you're brand new, I didn't like the Goff Stafford trade. I liked the picks we got, but I didn't like the quarterbacks we exchanged, because I thought we were getting a lesser version of Matt Stafford, which I still think he is. I don't think he's as good as Stafford, but that doesn't mean I wanted him to fail. I didn't want him to fail. But when Hooker got drafted here, I was ready to anoint Hooker the guy eventually. Not right away, but I didn't wish failure on Goff. I've never wished it. That's what people are doing right now, wishing failure on Goff so Hooker, or no one said anything about Allen, but so Hooker can step in and be the savior. I don't understand that. You're not a Lions fan then. You're just an individual fan of individual players. That's what that is. I should be doing a whole video on this instead of completely taking a left turn here. So I'm sorry for that, but that's just what it is. I don't wish failure on my football players. I want them all to be good. Just because I like another player more than this other guy doesn't mean I want to see, I don't want to see Marcus Davenport fail, but I want them to bring in somebody. I do, but I don't want to see him fail. So I don't understand why anybody will want to see. If you're a Lions fan, why would you want to see your quarterback or any player on the team fail? Just so another guy could come on. That's bizarre to me. That's wild. It doesn't make it. You're not a Lions fan. That guy doesn't like Goff for whatever reason. Hey, he's had some bad games in the playoffs. Not going to wish failure on the kid. I'm just not going to, because I want to see Hendon Hooker play. That's stupid. I want to see both these guys that do well. But I just don't get wishing failure on someone just so you can be right. It's bizarre. But the standouts were Hutch. Hutch, I guess, was phenomenal. He had 3 sacks. I think there was even 4 possibly. He did work primarily against Dan Skipper, the backup left tackle. I didn't really hear about any really matchups with Sewell, but he dominated. Whatever he did, he dominated. He did super good, super well. Gibbs and Monty were efficient. I guess when this offense was kind of stalling, they weren't really getting going. It took Montgomery with a couple really nice tough runs, and Gibbs with a couple little bit of a big runs, showing his elusiveness, his speed, getting the offense kind of going in a rhythm. Don't forget about David Montgomery. Don't forget about Jahmyr Gibbs. Obviously, we're not going to forget about those 2 guys, but Monty is a big part of this offense. The linebackers played well too. I guess Cunningham kind of stood out apparently. They had 8 sacks total. I counted 9. because Hutch had 3, Campbell had 1, Jack Campbell, Anthony Pittman had 1, Nate Lynn, Trevor Nowaski, and then Pat O'Connor and Keith Cooper Jr. each split 1, and then apparently Branch had 1, so that's 9. So I heard that from a couple different beat writers that Branch had 1, or I read that. So they had 9 in total. 8 to 9 sacks total for the defense. Defense played well on this day. Reed had a nice day too as well. The cornerback. The rookie Tate Ratledge played well, and Laporta impressed as well. So good to see those guys getting some looks. Some notes. This is where it ends, guys. Coyote Awosika and Jamarco Jones finished with the first team on the final drive. So my guess is Coyote Awosika was playing guard, and Jamarco Jones was playing some right tackle on the first team, which is good because I just said the other day, don't sleep on Coyote Awosika. He's got some starting experience. Even Jamarco Jones has had some starting experience in the past too as well. Good to see those guys getting some first team reps. Those guys pretty much are it kind of feels like they're locking up some backup positions as we speak. And then final, non-football related, Kirk Gibson was in the house, man. Detroit Tiger, my favorite baseball player of all time. I love Gibby. It's sad what he's going through right now with the Parkinson's disease, but the man is probably one of the toughest SOBs out there. I loved watching him play as a kid, and I kind of emulated my game after him when I played baseball, to be tough-nosed, not take any shit, that type of guy, hustle all the time. I used to love when he used to hit a pop-up, and he used to literally almost be at second base during a pop-up because he would run it out. You just never know, right? I loved his game. I loved his style. He became a Detroit Tigers manager. It didn't really go too well there. And then he's been an announcer. He's got the health issues. He looked really good in the pictures. If you see the pictures, the Detroit Lions put up some pictures, and he looks fantastic. He's probably resting. That's good for him, man. He's fighting every day. So Gibby in the house. I love it. Kirk Gibson, my favorite baseball player of all time. So that's it, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the notification button down there, that YouTube button, boom, boom, boom. It's the big red button there. Don't forget to hit the bell up top, bang. And don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Appreciate it, guys. Detroit Lions, hunting season is upon us. Let's go, guys. Boom.